fine.
It was fine. We got to the end without incident.
Oh no. Oh. I can't remember how to use it.
There's a video on there.
I know.
Hey, it's Gay.
And Carol.
If you haven't seen any of our videos before, we're all about adventure, fun and humour.
Alrighty, today's video is about our experience on the Birdsville Track. It's one thing I can tell you, it's 517 kilometres long.
So this is the start of our Birdsville Track experience, our very first time. What to expect? We've done the developmental road from Windora to Batuta to Birdsville before in 2019, and we're totally not prepared for everything. Yes, and this is their first time down a shitty road.
It'll be fine. First 30 k's, once we got that under our belt, we'll be fine. I think that's just the worry, just getting used to it, pacing ourselves.
And not, we've avoided the mistakes that we made the first time by tiring down and carrying extra fuel.
Yeah. So we started at Marree, got a really good coffee, we fueled up. And
how good was the coffee?
Because it's the best coffee we had in our whole trip.
Yes.
So apart from the one I made naturally. But yeah, no, it was...
Cappuccino.
Yeah, my cappuccinos, yes.
That's going to grow wings.
It will grow wings, and we'll do a video on that one day. So everyone we met at Marree, 98% of people were heading to Birdsville for the Big Red Bash. So you've got a lot of people heading up that way.
We don't have as much equipment for breakdowns and bits and pieces, and maybe as much knowledge as some other people. So that's always, I think, in the back of our minds. But you start the Birdsville Track, and the first thing that you do is take photos everywhere, and it was just like queuing up in the city for stuff. There was cars sort of everywhere, so you sort of take your time, take your photos, and then you're on the track. And I think we hadn't even got maybe 500 metres in, and you were like, this is a dream. If it's like this the whole way, we'll be fine. How wide is a Birdsville Track?
It's like a normal road. So normal, one up, one down. And the one thing I will say about it, before we went on the Birdsville Track, and I know the night before I was dreading it. However, when we got to the end of it, could have driven it 100 times. When we did the developmental road, I said to Gay, find us another way home. I don't ever want to go on that road again.
Will that plane fit the car?
Yeah.
Is it sealed?
No, it's not. It's no, not sealed. Definitely not sealed. All dirt.
All dirt?
And rocks.
With corrugations? What are the track conditions like?
I can only answer it from when we travelled on it, and they were good. If I compare it to the developmental road, it was great. It was like driving on tarmac almost.
So what's the developmental road?
The developmental road is not how it sounds. When you think the word developmental, you think it's a bit advanced and stuff like that. It's not. The developmental road was rutted. It had a lot of bull dust, washouts, stuff like that. It was horrendous, and it went from near Windora into Birdsville.
Yeah. And via Batuta. The only way that I would describe it is it was like the Wild West. I don't think there was many rules out there. So when cars overtook you, they overtook you from
6 lanes to the right.
Yeah, from quite a few lanes across. Even travelling outside the road, they would overtake you. Hey, Tobes.
Hi, buddy.
What do you think of the track?
It's smooth.
Think it's all right? How are we travelling so far?
So far, fantastic. Sitting on 80. Bit of dust behind us. Not much. Too bad.
So the track was only opened 2 weeks prior to us being on the track?
Yes, that was due to flooding. So it's not actually flooding on the actual track. Gay might describe this a bit better because it's one of her new things, is the flow. So it's I call it the Diamantina River, which I don't think it is. It's a Diamantina or something anyway. It's the local council as such up at Birdsville in that area. The river broke its banks, and it's the flow that comes down and spreads out. So, flow, yeah. Remember that.
So it's a flow after the rains, basically. So the rains were further up north, and then all the water just obviously flows down the rivers. So to pass the time on the track, we used Wiki camps.
big tickety-boo for them.
Yes. So
I was driving and Gay was navigator, which is best in our relationship. Works the best that way, trust me.
So using Wiki Camps, they've got the points of interest. I highly recommend Wiki Camps if you don't have it. How long should you do the Birdsville Track?
Anything from a day to just taking your time. Appreciate the track for what it is.
There's plenty of bird life out there.
I had a nice bird in the car with me.
There's a lot of stuff to see. We did pass the grader. Yep, the grader was going along, so then we didn't know if you're supposed to drive on which side of the hump. So it was a little bit tricky at times to know when the road got a wee little bit skinny. It was like get over to one side or over to the other side. But it was good. It was nice when you hit that little bit of grader bit because you might go a little bit faster.
Got to buckle her in.
Yep. All the pins are in. I've been picking rocks up too.
Not too many in there, so... Alright.
They'll be in that tyre, don't they get stuck in there?
Yeah, that's what I said, there's not too many in there.
Yeah.
There's a few there, but not under.
Car coming in, so
Yeah.
good timing. So we drove to Mungerannie, which is not quite a halfway point, and we stopped there for fuel. We didn't want to, what happened on our first time going down the developmental road.
Not enough fuel, and no fuel on.
If you want to hear the story about what happened on our first adventure to Birdsville, make a comment below. We pulled in at Mungerannie and sussed out the situation. It was $10 per person per night, so we paid our $20. Found a spot and then we unhitched and you went and filled up when it wasn't busy because there's quite a flow of traffic. See that word again, flow. That flow of traffic was
Rivers, cars, you know, conversation.
So it was, yeah, quite the flow of traffic going by. Quite a lot of traffic. One could almost say it was like Burke Street at times.
She's a bit exaggerating.
Obviously we had already, now at this point, we're starting to travel with a lot of people that were purely going for the bash, and we were going into the Big Red Bash 2 days early, so we were planning to get there a little bit earlier to give the dogs a rest day for one, so they weren't pack up, set up, travel. We had showers at the Mungerannie and I thought they were excellent.
I wouldn't have said they were excellent, but there was nothing wrong with them. Just the water pressure and the temperature, it didn't flow as well.
Mungerannie pub wants at least a minimum of 12 people staffing to operate. They had 7 and we're losing 2 the next day, so.
And it's also their peak, stuff like the bash. So, but they did really well.
They did really well. We shared a meal in there, had a few sips.
No, we didn't share.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. Carol's
Okay.
right.
So we had a meal there. It was excellent, and had a few sips. And if you're ever in the Mungerannie pub and you're sitting at the bar and you want to have a look behind the liquor,
Shelf.
you might see a sticker
Going the Lesbian.
behind the liquor.
Shelf.
We could go. We're not gonna
Hours
go
of
on.
entertainment.
Yeah, for us anyway.
Yeah.
I think Mungerannie, apart from being at a popular stop on the way to Birdsville, it's also got a McDonald's coming soon. It's quite famous for its little sign that says McDonald's coming here soon.
The other thing with Mungerannie is there's no internet at all, but they do have a phone box. So if you do need to contact anyone, it works. And don't forget that it's free.
And they have, in the morning, I purchased a damper bacon and egg roll. And would I think it's damper? Well, it's not as good as my damper, that's for sure. Now, just a little bit further on up the road from the Mungerannie pub that we didn't stay at is Clayton Station. So I think they've got the hot springs there, or some sort of springs, I'm not sure, but you can look up Clayton Station. It's a paid station to stay at, and there were signs up there. Quite a few people were breaking the track up into sections.
One of the things that we did when we were travelling up there was we put our tyre pressure down only about 5 pound, and then we cruised along, probably on averaged 80 overall for the most of the part of the track. We probably did creep up to 90 a couple of times in some good spots, especially where it had been graded, but overall 80 I think is a safe speed to sit on, and it's a nice easy cruisy drive.
Yeah. So there was quite a few cars that did have damage from cars going in the opposite direction. When we came across a car that was coming in the opposite direction, you pretty much slowed down, not quite to a stop, but you...
Yeah, I pulled right back.
Yeah.
2 reasons. One is it's better for vision or visibility, but also just to stop me flicking stuff up on them. So it's just almost a courtesy thing.
When we were both doing research, the consistent thing that we found about the Birdsville Track was, from everybody, drive to the conditions. To me, that seems a bit...
Broad.
Yeah, a drive to the conditions on a dirt track. So understandably, if it's wet, drive to the conditions. If it's dry, drive to the conditions. If it's busy, drive to the conditions. If it's rutted, drive to the conditions.
I think she means just drive to the conditions.
Yeah,
and it's on all the signs too,
Yeah.
drive to the conditions.
Yeah, drive to the conditions is the one thing we cannot emphasise enough. Drive to the conditions. Go at the speed that you feel comfortable with. And definitely if you've got traffic that's coming towards you, definitely slow down. We did stop at a few places and such along the way. There was a car that we might have put a sticker on.
The ute or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something, can't remember
It was
what it
a
was.
rusted ute, but if you've got Wiki camps, it will come up with what it is. Did we get the drone up on the track?
Yes, we did.
Yes. How many times?
Once.
Because?
It was windy.
And busy.
And busy. Yeah, so...
We didn't want it running off with someone else.
Yeah, we didn't want it chasing someone else going, oh great, now they've got footage.
Our time monitor with about 100 kilometres to go, that
Beep,
was
beep,
our
beep.
safety net, just kept beeping. Anyway, we wanted it to travel with somebody else in the end.
Yeah, go.
So towards the end of the track, we did come across some cyclists. Now
Not odd.
we're quite the cyclists ourselves. We've done
You can tell by our, you know.
a bike ride in Thailand, 500 kilometres, and that was in excruciating hot temperatures. Riding the Birdsville Track I don't think is something that I'd ever want to do.
No.
Anyway, there was a few people, well, the stragglers we'll call them, the ones that were a little bit beyond the ones at the start, they were hating it. So
Yeah, they weren't
I
smart.
can't imagine it would have been that much fun, and especially with the amount of traffic that would have been travelling along, they would have been getting a lot of dust, a few stones may have
Yeah.
been flicking up at them. It would not have been any fun, and even just concentrating on the track itself would have been hard enough, let alone with all the traffic that was coming through. We're nearing the end of the Birdsville Track from Marree to Birdsville.
Does it go from anywhere else?
No.
Hopefully people like our video and maybe give it a thumbs up. That'd be nice.
Enthusiasm.
Hopefully people like our video. give us a thumbs up. Hit that little tinker tinker tink bell and subscribe
And
if
the
you're
next
not.
video is on
Birdsville.
Birdsville.
Stay tuned.
Birdsville, a little tiny eeny weeny town, 100 people normally, approximately, because I think in summertime a few might leave.
Oof, yeah, you would.
You know, going to in excess of what, 11,000 people.
At once.
Well, flowed through. That
Flowed through?
I can't say that.
No, flowed through.
Yeah, flowed, went on by.
Flowed on by.
So we're going. Am I driving?
No, I'll drive.
Are you sure?
Yep.
We have our own club, and currently we're the only members.
Yeah, it was like that. Oh, what's the club? I don't know what club I'm in. What club am I in?
It's gay and
Ah, the Lesbian.
yeah,
So unique.
so unique.